Here are three rookies with league-winning upside in 2025 fantasy football draft. Starting out, Omarion Hampton, Los Angeles Chargers. Unfortunately, Najee Harris has a apparently slight eye injury that's keeping him out of training camp. And as he gets worked back in at some point, Omarion Hampton will already have had the opportunity to show the coaching staff what he is capable of doing. That means more reps, more opportunities, show his ability as a great downhill runner, show his ability as a receiver. And I do believe Harris will still have a role in this backfield throughout the season, but Hampton is going to be able to carve out more than previously anticipated. You're getting him around running back 14 in drafts. But here's the thing. We know that Jim Harbaugh, the head coach, offensive coordinator Greg Roman, they are going to develop as great a run game as they can. They had made some improvements to the offensive line, but this team is committed to run the football. They'll put extra tight ends. They'll put a fullback on the field. It's going to be a commitment to the run, and Hampton is built for this role. And if Hampton is able to pull away from Harris almost completely, that's where the league winning upside comes in. And don't rule that out. You cannot make hard and fast judgments based on the fact that Harris is making that $9 million. Hampton has that first round draft pedigree, and that is important. But this is a versatile 3-down back who, if given that role, can win your fantasy league. All right, next you got Colston Loveland of the Chicago Bears. The Bears spent a top 10 pick to add Loveland to their roster. Loveland is that movable chess piece, but the beauty is, remember, Coach Ben Johnson coached Sam Laporta to an overall tight end 1 finish 2 years ago. Knows out Travis Kelce for that top role. Well, Loveland, different player, but I love it because Chicago doesn't have that run game that Detroit had. So Chicago, they're going to have to throw the ball quite a bit. And Caleb Williams has an offensive line to protect him. Caleb Williams should develop under Coach Johnson. And remember this, Colston Loveland, it's a massive benefit that he has DJ Moore and Romo Dunze as the two wide receivers who are both going to command significant attention. So Loveland has that opportunity to find space to run. And man, he can run. He will be weaponized fully in this offense. Expect that big year, but he has the ability, if it all works out right, to be a league-winning tight end that you didn't see coming because he is being drafted around tight end 15 in average reps. And yes, that is really late at a position where we know we only get 4 or 5 big producers in most seasons. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a second to hit like and subscribe. It helps us keep the fantasy advice coming along. And if you want even more of RotoWire's tools, rankings, and insights, we got a 15% discount just for our YouTube viewers. You go to rotowire.com, you choose that subscription, and you use the code YouTube15 at checkout. The third receiver among this rookie class that has league winning upside, Emeka Egbuka, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, he'll need some things to happen here. Egbuka is in a very, very talented wide receiver, Hall of Famer in the future, Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin, who is coming back from a dislocated ankle. And then, of course, the third player from last year, Jalen McMillan, solid player as well. But Egbuka is having, as expected, a phenomenal camp, fitting right in. Easily will pass McMillan for that number 3 role, not a problem. But here's the thing where the league winning upside comes in. Chris Godwin isn't fully back from that ankle injury. There's going to be a high volume passing attack. They're going to have to score points. That defense is not great. They're going to have to throw. And Baker Mayfield shows he can. And the offensive line protects him. Egbuka could be heavily involved. Another thing, Mike Evans could take a step back at age 32. Don't be surprised if it does. We don't want it to happen, but it could happen. If these scenarios, like I said, a lessened Godwin, a lessened Mike Evans, and all of a sudden this first round draft pick is in an offense with Baker Mayfield, as I said, who could be fully weaponized, who could see an incredible number of targets. And the best news of all, Emeka Egbuka is going outside the top 50 receivers in average drafts. So if you are really wanting to play the odds in your fantasy draft and you want to shoot for the stars with rookies, you take Omarion Hampton right around running back 14. Colston Loveland, you can get super late in drafts. Again, well outside the top 12 tight ends, around 15. And Emeka Egbuka outside the top 50 receivers. These are players the last 2 you're drafting to be on your fantasy football bench. But if things break right and you love these rookies, they could make your team a fantasy football juggernaut in 2025.